The Monster of Canterlot, Chapter 20. To say I was surprised by waking up in the royal gardens would be a gross understatement. I'd had a very enjoyable day with Rose, gotten a kiss on the cheek, and even an agreement to a second date. I hadn't even sensed a negative vibe all day, so why, after such a great day, was I suddenly home again? Welcome, nephew. Ah, that made sense. I looked up at the full moon in time to see Luna fade into view and float down. Hello, Aunt Luna. You know there are easier ways to get a hold of me. True, but there are few that offer such privacy. Uh-huh. Did Mom put you up to this? Luna giggled. Her laughter always made her seem at least 1,500 years younger than she really is. No, the sister is unaware of our meeting. She paused and then shot me a sly grin. And your date? You know, I thought the moon was full for too long. Yes, I admit to manipulating the lunar cycle so I may keep an eye on you. I hope you are not angry with me. No, I still love you. I proved this by hugging her tightly around the neck while she nuzzled the side of my head. Besides, I should expect this by now, being so closely related to goddesses and all. Good, I'm glad to hear that. I have far too few relatives as it is. Luna stepped back from me and turned her head. I matched her movement to see where she was looking. I couldn't believe it. Right there, in the gardens, was none other than Rose herself. Now, tell me about this young mare. I walked over to the Dream Rose and took a good look. It was a perfect representation of her. What can I say? She's beautiful. I met her at her shop when I brought some flowers for Twilight and fell for her right then and there. I see. She is rather attractive. Luna walked over to get a better look for herself. Is this the thing you like about her? If so, you should leave her be, for her own sake. Wow, Aunt Luna, do you really think me so low? I chuckled a little. No, her looks merely caught my eye first. I got so worked up over her good looks that Twilight kept teasing me about it. So much so that I asked Rose out on a date without even realizing it. This time it was Luna who laughed. Young Twilight Sparkle did always know how to get on your nerves. Yeah, she does. Well, we went to dinner and a walk afterward. She's from a middle-class family in Manhattan. She moved to Ponyville to meet nicer ponies and find some cheaper stock. She seems to be a very nice mare, and I think I like her. I am pleased to hear it. Once again, Luna turned to the Dream Rose. So, when do I get to meet her? Whoa, easy now. I don't want you scaring her off. Oh, I understand. Suddenly, I realized what I had said and how she must have taken it. Poor Luna was still having image troubles. I rushed over and hugged her as tight as I could. No, not like that. I didn't mean it like that at all. I kissed her on the cheek. What I meant was you and Mom are the rulers of this land and the heavenly bodies that orbit it. That alone would be enough to intimidate any pony, even without them dating the Sun Princess's own adopted son. Luna giggled. Yes, I suppose you are right. Very well, I shall respect your wisdom and not press this matter. On to other matters. When do you plan on returning to Canterlot? Tomorrow afternoon, I think. Wait, what day is this? Dang, it's hard to tell time in this dream world. One more night. But please, don't tell your sister. I want it to be a surprise. Luna giggled again and kissed me on my forehead. All right, I shall do as you ask. Besides, it would be fun to see the look on her face. That's the idea. Luna looked off at something unseen, then turned back to me. Sadly, our time grows short, and I must return you to the waking world. Once again I found myself in her embrace. Until we meet in the flesh, know that I love you. I love you too, Aunt Luna. I'll see you soon. Farewell for now. Luna and I waved to each other as she drifted upwards towards the moon. As soon as she faded out of view, I began to wake up. After a delicious meal of eggs and waffles, I managed to convince Twilight to allow me to walk the town on my own today. It wasn't easy either. She still thinks that some pony is going to freak out and... Actually, I don't know what she thinks will happen. By now, every pony knows who I am, and I highly doubt any pony wants to hurt me. In fact, I was actually getting quite a few waves in green as I wandered through town. It's only been a few days, and already these ponies seem to have accepted me as one of their own. Heck, I bet they would have even if I weren't royalty. This town is even friendlier than Twilight made it sound in her letters. As I walked aimlessly through the streets, I was drawn by the sound of laughing foals. I rounded the corner and saw the schoolhouse. It was apparently recess, as all the students were running around on the playground. I even saw a little white filly, an orange filly, and a yellow filly that I recognized. I was tempted to walk right on over and talk with my little friends, but I thought that might be a bad idea. Besides, There was a little pink filly and a gray filly who seemed to be going over to talk to them. At first, I thought that the two newcomers were their friends, but I quickly realized that I was wrong. I could see it in the faces of my little friends that the others were unwelcome. It wasn't long before I recognized something else in their faces. It was a look I had seen many times in the mirror. These sweet little fillies were being bullied. Now, I really wanted to go to them. I wanted to put a stop to this, but I knew I couldn't. I could probably stop it this time, but I can't stay with them forever. Heck, I couldn't even stop my own bully. What good would I be to them? Granted, I'm related to mine, but still, my feet seemed to make my decision for me, as they moved me closer on their own accord. However, before I could reach them, my assistance became unnecessary. "All right, class, recess is over, and it's time to go back inside," a maroon earth pony instructed. "Oh, your highness, what brings you here?" I walked up to the mare and bowed a little. "I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're Miss Cheerily, correct? Twilight's mentioned you in her letters before." "That's right, and you didn't interrupt anything." "Ah, good. I may not have ever gone to a classroom setting, but I know the importance of a good education, and don't want to rob any pony of that." "I see. Well, if you would like, you can come and see it for yourself. Plus, I'm sure the students would love to get a chance to see you up close and with their own eyes. After all, it's not every day that an incredibly rare species or a member of the royal family wanders into town, and you're both." Shirley's own words reached her ears. Her hoof shot up and covered her mouth. "Oh, I hope I didn't say anything to offend you." I laughed. No, it's fine. I'd love to come and see your class." 10 minutes later, Miss Shirley was before her assembled class. "All right, students, settle down." They did. "Now, I know you're all going to be very upset about this, but instead of the pop quiz I had planned for this afternoon, I later found out never existed, we will be having a special guest speaker. Okay, you can come in now." I heard a dozen questioning whispers amongst the students suddenly stop as I ducked through the doorway. After I stood back up to my full height, there was nothing but silence. Well, not nothing. There were 3 little fillies who released excited gasps. "Hello, children. My name is Christopher Soule, and I am your prince." There was a sudden rush of noise as the fools kept asking each other if that was true. They kept looking up at me, then back to their friends, then to Miss Shirley, before coming back to me. It's all quite amusing to watch. Finally, one of them dared to raise a hoof. Unfortunately, it was that pink one from before. "If you're our prince, how come you're not a pony?" I swear I saw the walls bend inward when Miss Shirley gasped. I looked over my shoulder at the teacher, who looked about ready to eat both her 4 hooves. I simply smiled at her. "That, my little pony, is because—" I crept up to her desk, placed both my hands on its corners, and leaned in close and whispered, "I'm an alien." The fact that her eyes were about to fall out of her skull was very satisfying. I stood back up and went back to the front of the class. Now Miss Shirley was hiding her mouth to block a smile instead of a gaping maw. In fact, I'm a type of primate known as a human. I come from a world similar to this one, called Earth. I was brought here as a child by a magical accident. Luckily, I was found by the friendliest mare any pony could ever hope to meet. She took me in, gave me love and shelter, and eventually became my mother. This time it was the silver one who spoke up. "But I thought you said you were our prince. How can you be our prince if you were raised by some mare?" "Oh, didn't any pony tell you? The pony who raised me was Princess Celestia." "What? Really? No way!" It took a few moments before the classroom was quiet enough for me to be heard without yelling. "That's right. Celestia is indeed my mother." A smile crept across my face as I thought about how unique that honor really was, and how lucky I was that she was the one who found me that fateful day. "But that can't be true. If Princess Celestia had a child, especially an alien child, then we would have heard about it." I don't think I've ever decided to fool before in my life. But here we are. "It is so true," Apple Bloom shouted. "Yeah, we heard it from Celestia herself," Scootaloo added. "What? You met Princess Celestia?" the pink filly asked skeptically. "Yeah, right." "Yeah, as if. Like the princess would talk to a bunch of blank flanks." Now I disliked the gray one. I stepped forward and loomed at my full height over the 2 fillies. "I don't think I like what you 2 are insinuating. In your haste to insult these 3 fillies, you just called them liars without a second thought. The problem with that is, You also just called me, your teacher, and one of the rulers of this country liars as well. I walked over to Applebloom and Scootaloo and rubbed their heads with a smile on my face. Plus, I don't really appreciate you making fun of my friends. I then returned to the front of the classroom. Also, as far as blank plates go, I'm a blank too. Once again, a shot silence fell over the classroom. Humans, like most creatures in Equestria, do not earn cutie marks. Ever. So be careful what you say, where you say it, and who you say it about. We're sorry, Your Highness, the Great Filly said after she jumped to the floor and bowed as quickly as she could. Yeah, please forgive us, the pink one begged. It's fine. Just be mindful that your actions have consequences. Come to think of it, you two remind me a lot of my cousin. Really? The pink filly looked up at me with excitement painted on her face. That's so cool, the gray one said. Yeah, you three are something, all right, I muttered as I rolled my eyes in my mind. Now, who has a question? The next hour was full of questions and answers. They started with the standard and easily answered questions, what I ate, why I walked upright, what fingers were, and then came the less fun questions. Why I wore clothes all the time, what Earth was like, what I remembered of my real parents. In all, it was an interesting day. I even managed to have fun. Sadly, everything comes to an end at some point. All right, children, that's enough questions for the prince. I'm sure he has places to go and things to do. How about, in light of his visit today, we end class here for today? Or would you all like to keep working? I only just managed to get out of the way of the stampeding ponies. I guess that's a yes, Miss Cheerilee, I joked. She giggled. I think you're right. After the sound of stomping hooves had faded into the silence, I was surprised to see that the three fillies known as the Cutie Marks Crusaders had remained. Hey girls, why are you all still waiting here? Well, Scootaloo started. Rarity puts me up after school, but she won't know to come get me early, Sweetie Belle explained. And Applejack will still be selling apples in town for another couple hours, so I'm stuck too. Scootaloo finished the thought. I'm supposed to walk back to my house with Applejack, since it's on the way to the farm. Oh dear, I didn't think about that. I'm so sorry, girls, Miss Cheerilee apologized. It's okay, Miss Cheerilee. We'll just play on the playground till our sisters can come get us, Applejack offered. Yeah, don't worry about it, Scootaloo confirmed. Well, I suppose that would be okay, the teacher said. How about this? You three accompany me to Sugar Cube Corner. I treat you all to some milkshakes, then drop you off with your sisters. Does that sound good? Of course, yeah, was their response. Alright, let's get to it. I scooped up Scootaloo and placed her on my shoulders, then picked up Sweetie Belle and Applebloom in each arm and headed for the door. We'll see you later, Miss Cheerilee. Goodbye, girls. Goodbye, Your Highness. Cheerilee waved as we left. And that was my first day at school.